What's up, guys? Bruno Aponte here, back with another tutorial. Super excited to be here with you guys. So this week we're going over last week's post for Instagram. It was tour merch that I recreated of Jhene Aiko's latest album. It was done for a really great friend of mine. She tasked me to do it because she was online looking for it and it was all sold out. I had a lot of fun with it. You guys seem to enjoy it a lot too. There was a lot of feedback, a lot of comments, a lot of DMs. You guys wanted to see the full length tutorial. So I'm here with that today. Let's get started. Alright guys, so now we're in Photoshop. I got all my images open and my canvas ready. So I started by placing all the images of Jhene where I wanted them. I pre-masked them, resized them, repositioned them, and moving right into the text after all of that. The font that I chose is called Quartzo. So I knew what kind of warping I wanted to do, so I started stretching it out a bit. And then I did an arch warp. It's like a lower half arch warp. Also adding the accent to the last E. I did this with the pen tool, considering that the E in the font doesn't actually come with the accent. So after all of that, I moved into bringing in the volcano. I resized her a little bit, moved them around a bit. I brought in the lotus. I pre-masked it. I put it to the top. I also duplicated it, one for each corner, and resized it, repositioning it however it fit best. After all of that, I duplicated the font. I changed what it said to the name of the album. I also wanted to give this a warp. I gave this one a flag warp rather than a arch warp. With the font in place, I moved right into doing the bushes in the back of the font. I brought one in, I duplicated it and flipped it horizontally so that they mirror each other. I then brought in the next set of flowers, which were these red flowers I found. I duplicated that. I masked it a bit just to give it some shape. And then I also duplicated the red flowers just to fill that empty space that's in between the text. With the empty space filled up, I merged all the flower layers and then I gave this a warp as well. It was another flag warp, just like the text. I moved right along into doing the lightning. This is on a pink color fill. I also had to add an inner glow. It's a white inner glow on lighten. Opacity at 100, choke at 0, size at 12, range at 50. The layer is also on lighten for the blend mode. And then I was able to go on and brush the rest of the lightning. I did two more, one on the left, one on the right. You'll also notice that the lightning starts with a round soft brush that I painted in. All this before I moved into just adjusting the accent a little bit on the top of the E. I felt like it wasn't exactly right. With everything in place, I went on to doing the layer styles for the font. I gave it a red color overlay, a white stroke, and an inner shadow that was pretty hard. The distance is set to 5. It was also on a normal blending mode and the size of 2. I copied the layer style, I added it to the second font. Then I went back and added a pattern. I pre-made this pattern with a picture of lava. In order to get the black and white lava for the bottom font, I had to change the color overlay blend mode to hue. I did the same thing with the first font, only changing the blend mode to overlay. Then I started organizing, everything was looking good, so I know I was getting to the end. I wanted to add a gradient map, the usual blue, black, and sepia. I changed that gradient map to lighten. I duplicated it and changed the second one to overlay. You'll see that I played around with blend diff a little bit. Things were starting to look really vintage at this point. All I needed to add was the diamond flares, so I added a few of those. They're on linear dodge. And things were coming together. I knew it was time to start making it fit onto a shirt, so I started to tweak things around to make sure that I wasn't going to crop things out as I started to mask things away, because I knew I wanted to fade out in the shirt from the center. So as I was doing that, I started tweaking things around, looking at transparencies. I also needed to make sure that I added some dimension to her. So I did that with an exposure layer and just started to dodge and burn a little bit on her face and cheek and hair, just because one of them was looking a bit more flat than the other. With all that done, I was pretty much finished. I had to do a bit more tweaking, and I merged everything into a layer, making sure that everything was masking right and fading away. Nothing was going to be cropped out of the design, so when it prints, nothing is missing. For the final touch, as usual, I just added a camera raw filter, added some grain, bumped the clarity, bumped the vibrance, gave it a small S-curve, and that was pretty much it. I was excited with how it came out. So was my good friend that commissioned this for me. She was looking for the shirt for a while and couldn't find it, so I was happy to help recreate this for her. All in all, it was a super fun challenge. I was excited about doing it and happy how it came out. So I hope you guys feel inspired, and hopefully you guys learned something and can make your own merch. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Drop a comment down below, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about today's video. That's all for me today. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.